Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. This is my gameplay series where I pit 4 of my decks against themselves to find their weaknesses, try and improve both my deck building and my skill at playing Magic the Gathering, and improve the decks themselves. This is match 2. We've got Dalek Emperor, Lozan Dragons, Ramos Counters, and Jensen Legendaries. I skipped the first 3 turns, just doing lands and such. I will tell you what was played as we get to each deck. Over here, we're starting turn 4 on the Dalek Emperor. We were able to get an Arcane Signet out, 3 lands, and a Tarian Mauler, which actually has 2 counters on it right now. It's a 2/2 that says whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Tarian Mauler. It is a changeling, which is important to help get the Dalek Emperor out quicker. Gonna draw for turn. Gonna play a Blood Crypt, tapping 3 to play Pristine Talisman. Tap it to add a colorless and you gain a life. I will tell you about that when we get over there. So I have 2 mana, nothing I can do right now. And it's only when an opponent casts a spell does the Tarian Mark. Does it go up? So we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to play Temple of the Dragon Queen, revealing a Shivan Devastator from my hand so that it comes in untapped, and it's going to tap for red. I'm going to tap all 4, however, and play a Hex Core, which is actually a Thran Dynamo. Fortunately, where everything's getting counters, that's not great, but that's all we can do. We needed that out. Yes, so we're going to go ahead and pass turn. The problem with the dragon deck, while it did win last game, is that dragons are very expensive mana costs, so you need a lot of ramp in terms of mana rocks as best you can. Over here, for Ramos Counters deck, we played a Concave Mentor. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many plus an additional 1 are put on instead, and when Conclave Mentor dies, you gain life equal to its power. We also played a Mana Gorger Hydra, which is a 1/1 with Trample that says whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. 3 spells were cast, but with Conclave out, it got 6 counters. So now it's a 7/7 with Trample. We're going to draw for turn. That's crazy good. We're going to play Zatora's Proving Ground, comes in tapped, and then we're going to tap a green for Hardened Scales. If 1 or more counters are put onto a creature you control, that many +1 get put on. 2 mana left, nothing I can do with that, however, but I did cast a spell, so this will go up to 8 counters. Next time anybody plays a spell, it's going to go up even crazier. So it's now a 9/9 with Trample. You gotta go swinging. And you also have, now we played a spell over here, so you get a counter. However, you're not going up nearly as fast as we are. Get good, noob! So we're going to punish you for that and swing a 9/9 with Trample at you. We have a 6/6, but I need that to get the Emperor out, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take a 9 right off the word go. Very, very powerful. So now, obviously, anybody gets any kind of destruction spell, it has to go to the Mana Gorger first. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Luxury Suite. Yep, and we are going to do so. 1, 2, 3, 2, putrefy. Destroy target artifact or creature, it can't be regenerated. It was nice while it lasted. It would have gotten 2 more, actually 3 more counters, but that's fine. We did cast a multicolor spell, so we get to scry 1. I guess we'll leave that there, actually. So we did get Jensen Carthalion Druid Exile out, the commander of this deck. A 2/2 that says whenever you cast a multicolored spell, scry 1, as we just did, but if the spell was all colors, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. You can also filter 5 mana through Jensen to make 1 of each color. Not much else we can do, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. And that's the thing, everybody always has at least some sort of destruction spell for that Mana Gorger, but it's such a great card. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw on turn 5. Going to play a mountain for turn. They did cast a spell, so we will go up. Now, it's a May ability, but because I'm not sitting in front of this deck, it's harder to remember that, so I'm going to give myself a little leeway on that. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter, a flying 1/2, colorless and artifact spells as though they had flash. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast that spell is greater than Liberator's power, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I'm going to go ahead and tap this to gain a life, and 1 colorless to play Manifold Key. It's not bigger than his power, so it doesn't do anything. But I can pay 1 and tap it to untap another target artifact, and I can pay 3 to tap it to target creature can't be blocked this turn. Mainly is in there for that, so that I can make the Dalek Emperor unblockable if I wanted to. I have 3 mana, but nothing I really want to use it for. We do have a 7/7, however, the 7/7 does not have trample, unlike the Mana Gorger. But you did pipe us for a lot, so we're still going to send it at you. You can either take it or blow up your thing, and that is a really good card for that deck, so we'll take the 7. I'm going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap. Upkeep. Draw. Training Center. Good to have some lands out. I'm going to go ahead and do some setup. So we're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Vanquisher's Banner, Declaring Dragons. Creatures of the chosen type I control get +1/+1, and whenever I cast a spell of the chosen type, I draw a card. Now, I should have probably cast the commander. However, now when I cast the commander, I get to draw a card, and any other spells any other dragons I play will also get to draw. But that is a spell, so this would go up to 6. Now the question is, do I really... I have something decent. It might be better to save it for later, but I don't like how that's already an 8/8, and we are shields down. They could totally come at us next turn, while everyone else makes bigger plays. So I'm going to use this now. Might be a bad idea, but we're going to tap 3 to anchor to the Aether. Put target creature on top of its owner's library and scry 1. We're going to put this back on top, so that's even better than putting it in your hand, which I thought it would. Scry 1. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the bottom, and then I'm going to pass. So we are shields down, so we'll probably take a couple hits, but now we don't have to worry about taking a massive smack. We're going to untap over here, upkeep, draw. Going to play a mountain for turn. We're going to tap red, green, white, and one other to play Shalai and Halar, a 3/3 flying vigilance. Whenever one or more counters are put onto a creature I control, Shalai and Halar deal that much damage to target opponent. So with these two out, that's pretty good. It's going to be piping people for 2 to 3 damage every turn. Well, 3 damage minimum, but that's all I can do. I could go to attack with my 2/2, and I guess we will. We'll swing a 2/2 at you just because can't get through here, but might as well bring you down a little bit. Pass turn, because you're doing big things with lots of mana over there. Untap, upkeep, draw. We're going to put a Sundown Pass, white, black, and then 1, 2, 3 to play Arvad the Cursed. It's a multicolored spell. I scry 1. I'm going to leave that there. It has Death Touch, Lifelink. It's a 3/3 right there off the... Well, for 5, that's a little weak, but other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2, which means Jensen is now a 4/4 commander. Not as bad. You've got a 3/3, we've got a 4/4. That is going to be a problem, but you'll probably just take the 4. You have to take the 4, and you might, but I think we're going to send 4 commander at you just to get the game moving. But that's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Oh, right. I'm all surprised. I'm like, whoa, it's Atari Mauler. But what we're going to do instead is tap. I'm going to gain life off of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to play the Dalek Emperor. A 6/6 with affinity for Daleks. We don't have a Daleks out right now, so it costs full commander cost. Other Daleks have haste, and at the beginning of combat, each opponent faces a villainous choice, which we will now go to. That player sacrifices a creature they control, or I make a 3/3 Dalek token with menace. You can't. Boom. I make a 3/3. You're not going to sacrifice that. Boom. I make a 3/3. You're probably not going to sacrifice that either. I'm going to make another 3/3. So I have 3 3/3s with haste and menace. I will go to combat. Well, that was the... I will swing all 3 of them at you. And we do... Oh, and we played... Sorry. Before all of that, we played the Dalek Emperor, which does in fact have a higher power than... Or rather, the mana cost was higher than Liberator's power, so it gets a counter as well. So it is a 2/3 flyer that we could have attacked with, but I don't think we really needed to right now. That's all we can do here. We're going to pass turn. Untap. Upkeep, draw. We're going to go ahead and tap 5 to cast Lozan, Dragon's Legacy. A flying 4/2. Whenever you cast an adventure spell or a dragon spell, Lozan deals damage equal to its mana value to any target that isn't a commander. So we got a couple triggers. 1, I used Path of Ancestry to cast it, so it shares a type with itself, so we get to scry 1. I will leave that there for sure, which is cool because now we get to draw a card. Ba-boom. And I'm going to tap the Thran Dynamo for 3, 1 floating, to play Ruby Medallion. Red spells cost 1 less to cast. That's a pretty solid turn, I think. But there's nothing else we can do. We don't have haste, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Playing an island, tapping all 6 to play Ramos, Dragon Engine. Flying 4/4. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos for each color in that spell, and then remove 5 counters from him to make double Wooburg. We can only do that once per turn. There is no way to put counters on anything right now, but we do have a 3/3 flying or with Vigilance, but you have a 2/3. Could put the pressure on you. I guess that's what we'll do. We'll swing them at you. You'll probably just take the 1, 2, 3. No point in losing your... I mean, it is a good blocker, but it's got other functions as well. That's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, go, go, go. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 for Command Sphere. I will then tap 1, 2 and play the creature Hero of Precinct 1. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 white human creature token. This is a monocolor, so it does not trigger Jensen, and it's not a legendary, so it doesn't get Arvad's buff either. And regrettably, that's really all we can do. There's no good attacks or anything, so we're just going to hold off and pass. Untap. Upkeep. Draw for turn. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, gaining a life rather, to play the Tarian Mauler. It is a Dalek, so now it has haste thanks to the Dalek Emperor. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap 1, 2, sacrificing one of my Daleks as an additional cost to cast Deadly Dispute. Draw 2 cards and make a treasure token. There's my treasure token, so I do have 3 mana right now. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, tap, sacrificing that for Bloodline Pretender. It's a 2/2 changeling. As it enters the battlefield, choose the creature type. We're obviously choosing Daleks. Whenever another creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield, under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloodline Pretender. We are now going to move to our combat. Villainous choice time. You going to sacrifice one? Nope. Are you going to sacrifice one? No. Will you? You know what? Yes, I'm going to sacrifice that. I mean, it could be cool to get the things, but we're not playing a ton of multicolored spells each turn, so I'm okay with limiting your freaking Daleks a little bit. So the point is, all Daleks have haste, so I can swing with these 2 new ones. And 2 just came in, so that will put counters on Bloodline Pretender. So it's a 4/4 with haste. These are 3/3s with haste and menace. And whenever we cast the Tarian Mauler, this would have gone up, so that would make that 3. Yeah, so nothing else we've cast is higher than that. But the Liberator is now a 3/4, so that's a semi-decent blocker or attacker. Alright, so we're going to move to combat. We're going to send the Dalek Emperor at you, because if you block, you're going to lose your thing, and I won't lose mine. We will send the rest of them at you. I don't think you want to block, because you have to stack block one of these. And if you block the Bloodline Pretender, it'll kill either of your creatures. And if you double block, obviously I'll make the Dalek kill the 2/2. Your commander will survive, but you're going to lose out on that potential for damage. However, that is 12 and 4, 16 damage. I think from that perspective, you're on the cusp of doing something. I think you're going to go ahead and take the 16. Very, very risky and probably stupid, but whatever. I think you're going to go ahead and take that commander, and there we go. Let's pass turn, see what happens. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a snow-covered mountain. Red spells cost 1 less, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inferno of the Star Mounts. Can't be countered. 6/6 flying haste, and pay a red. Inferno gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When its power becomes 20 this way, it deals 20 damage to any target. I use the path, so I'm going to scry. We're going to leave that there. Now, because of Lohan's trigger, we're going to get 6 damage to something, but it cannot be a commander. 6 damage to your face. And you know what? I think I'm going to tap 1 and 3, so X being 3 for the Shivan Devastator. It's going to come in with 3 counters on it. It's a flying haste, and it's going to be 4 damage to something. So we're going to do 4 damage, actually you, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get everybody down to about the same life. So that's all the mana we got, but we got 3 creatures that can attack, because 2 of them they all have haste, or we're already on the field. Now, we don't want to swing out with everything, unfortunately, because then we'll just take all of the crack back. And because the Daleks have menace, we probably don't even want to swing out with more than 1. So I'm going to swing the 6/6 at you in the air. Well, you do have a blocker, though, and I think you'll totally block it, because that's a lot of damage, and you don't want to take that. But alright. And actually, red spells do cost 1 less to cast, so I think this actually technically can come in as a 4/4, not 3/3, because the -1 becomes part of the X cost. But that's all we can do here. We're going to... Nope. That would be 7. Well, it doesn't matter, it didn't get through. But yes, go ahead and pass turn. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Okay, so what I need to do is I have a Swords to Plowshares in my hand. So what I need to do is keep the command tower up and wait until they move to combat, and then swords the Dalek Emperor, because they have, with all the Daleks out, they can totally recast it on the next turn. And we can say we know that now because we've played multiple games as a pod or whatever, so it's like, oh yeah, I know you can do that now. But what we will do is tap 1, 2, 3. Well, wait a second. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 for Krenko Tin Street Kingpin. Now the problem is he doesn't have haste, so I can't attack with him and utilize that to put a whole bunch of counters everywhere and do all kinds of damage. So it's kind of, we're a bit of a pickle over here with our counters deck. And everything in my hand is white. So I only have 1 source of white mana too, so I can't even cast something else instead. I think we need to leave up all 4 of them for blockers because they're the threat, but we're an easy target because we're the lowest life. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Itali Primal Storm, 6/6. When she attacks, exile top card of each player's library. You may cast them without paying their mana costs. Again, unfortunately, they don't have haste. Now, it is a legendary, so it's an 8/8 thanks to Arvad, but we don't know if that's actually going to mean anything. So now, both of us are actually, everyone's kind of the threat at this point. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a land for turn. Okay, we're going to do this. Let me know in the comments if I'm misunderstanding how Changeling works. But we're going to tap 2 red and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play delete. X being 6. Delete deals X damage to each non-artifact creature and each player. Now, because they're changelings, they're Daleks, and I believe Daleks count as artifact creatures, so these 2 should be fine. I know these ones are, because it says black Dalek artifact creature tokens, but I'm not sure if these guys... This one's actually an artifact creature anyway, so it's fine. The Tarian Mauler is the one I'm unsure of, and by the way, I've played 1, 2, 3, like at least 3, 4. So actually this gets 4 counters on it. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to say that it survives. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But basically that's dealing 6 damage to each player, myself included. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then each creature I don't control. Well, each non-artifact creature. So that'll leave Ramos up. But this gets destroyed. This gets destroyed. That goes back to the command zone. 2 more to cast. Boom, boom, boom. All gone. Boom, boom. Back to the command zone. 2 more to cast. And now it is a clear field. So we move to beginning of combat. Ah, darn it. However, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm definitely doing this now. At the beginning, as you move to combat, tapping for a white, we're going to Swords to Plowshares, the Dalek Emperor, which means you do gain 6 life, which means it costs 2 more to cast. However, you don't get the villainous choice, which would have possibly... It wouldn't have made the game, you wouldn't have won, but you would have gotten really close. I mean, fair. I mean, you can't argue with that. So, we're definitely going to move to combat. 4 3/3s, we're sending them at Menace at you. That's 12 damage. You're done. That was your little Hail Mary pass, I get it. And then we're sending these guys at you, because the dragons were doing quite a bit of damage. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The nice thing is that nobody would have been able to sacrifice. Well, they could have, but they weren't going to. So it would have been an extra 9 damage somewhere, but that's okay. That's still awesome play. I think it's okay because it's a Dalek. I hope so. Otherwise, it would be 6 damage less, so that could affect things, but I think that's all right. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Blue, red, 3, and then 2 for the commander tax. To recast Lozan, using Path of Ancestry, scrying. I will leave that there. Actually, don't have to use this because it is a red spell, so it costs 1 less, even with the commander tax. But we did play a dragon, so we get to draw the thing we just looked at. And we have 3 mana, or 4 if we're playing a red spell. We don't have anything like that. So I'm going to play 3 and play Dragon's Horde. When it enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter on Dragon's Horde. Tap it to remove a gold counter and draw a card, or tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Or whenever a dragon enters the battlefield, put a horde counter on it. So right now, it just taps for mana. Mana, non-mana. Alright, pass turn. You are done, unfortunately. So we're over here. Untap. Upkeep. Draw. Green and white. 2 others. Recast the commander. Not that that's going to matter too much. We have 2 mana up, not enough to play anything, pass turn. I think Daleks may have it, thanks to that awesomely timed board wipe. We're over on turn 9, possibly 10, because I always tend to miss at least 1 turn. But here's the thing, the Daleks are out. So 1, 4, 5, 6, it costs 6 less to cast. So basically we just need red and a black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom, boom, there we go. That's the necessary tax, draw for turn. It's a land, I'll play a land. Actually, I'm going to tap this just so I can gain a life. And then villainous choice time. Are you going to? No. You. No. So we make 2 more Daleks. 2 more things came in, so this does get 2 more counters. And actually, because the commander came in, that's also Dalek, so that gets another one. No, it doesn't really matter. 6 times 3. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we are going to... well, you know what? I screwed up. I went to combat too early. So we made the things, so we're going to swing these at you. Well, I guess we should split them up. Let's be smart. Let's just not go blah, 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 and then mess it up. So you've got 12. You can't block. All you need to do is send 4 of the 6 at you. which leaves 2. That's 12 damage. You can't block it. You are done. Kaboosh. And then we send everything else at you. It's not going to be able to kill you. This is going to deal 6 damage that you can't block because they are menace. And this is 6. So this is 13. You will block the biggest one, which is this. Now that costs an additional, it costs 4 more to cast, but 6 gets through. Really nothing you can do. We're going to pass turn. We untap over here, we draw. It's nothing. Do we have any kind of board wipes? I do not. We're just going to concede. Kaboosh, there you go. Your winner from match 2, the Exterminate. The Daleks did it. Hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you saw some cool cards. Thanks for checking out my channel. Like I said, please subscribe, throw some likes around, and I will see you next time.